Hey folks, it's us, podcasting wonderkins John Bishop and Lucas Southworth.
Although this is a podcast about cars, it is not age appropriate for the target demographic of these films, as we usually end up talking about the reproductive organs of Lightning McQueen.
Alright, now let's take a look under the hood. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kachat. It's the only podcast brave enough to ask the question, hey, what's up with cars? I'm Lucas Southworth.
And I'm John Bishop, and we're going to the chapel, and we're...
Gonna get married. John, do you hear that?
What's that?
Church bells.
I hear those church bells are ringing.
'Cause I'm not actually getting married at a church, though, so...
That's fair. I also did not.
Or at a chapel. So, disregard all of that, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
I got married in a movie theater.
It's true. I was there.
He was? Yes, he was.
This is our episode about weddings, because I'm engaged, and it's most of what I talk about, except when I'm talking about house hunting. But let me tell you, these days, I'd rather be talking about weddings, because house hunting sucks.
See, that's an interesting thing to clarify, is like, oh, this is all I talk about now. And that's true for, like, my kids, basically. But I don't know why I said my kids. My wife is pregnant, but I think I was referring to Gianna as the other one, which is not the case. But yeah, I don't talk that much, though, is the thing.
Fair enough, yeah.
So, like, all I talk about means I talk about it occasionally.
See, I talk about it both to my coworkers who know I'm engaged and are looking for any way to just have a pleasant conversation with me. And I also talk to it to my family and Liz, who ask me questions about colors and flowers, and I try my best to have an opinion about them.
Absolutely wild. You talk to people outside of your family?
I try not to, but they keep bringing it up.
Yeah,
you know?
See, I go to work and I can barely get my boss to talk to me.
Now that's an issue.
Well, he's a very busy man who's always talking to someone.
Sure, but there should be some amount of time made for his employees.
That is true, and the problem is, I'm not a fan of talking during the morning meeting because my mentality on it is, well, I don't want to waste everyone else's time with my questions. I just need to talk to this one man.
Yeah, I get that.
Also, I'm not good at, like, saving my questions for the next day. I'm always like, I need an answer right now or I can't do anything else. And
sometimes
then I get an answer.
That's true, though.
Yeah? Typically, it's true at least for the project that I'm working on. It's like, oh, well, now I need to know if I can move forward with this. And the answer is usually yes, but I'd like to get a confirmation before I do.
Real quick, did the podcast listening audience know that you're going to be a father a second time over yet? Or did we casually drop that?
Atta baby eats a boy.
Hey, like that one commercial that I literally don't remember. I just know it because the McElroys reference it all the time.
Yeah, same. I think I have a vague memory of it, but that's all. Like, I cannot give you any specifics.
Just in case we have... Yeah, John's having another child. It's a boy.
We're having a boy.
It was revealed.
Gender reveal was yesterday.
Yes.
This is the thing where we're already telling people, like, okay, so, like, first month of pregnancy, I'm thinking we gotta wait till, like, second trimester to tell anyone, just in general. And she was like, oh, I already told everyone. And by that, I'm exaggerating. She had just told all of her family. But yeah.
I feel like I found out fairly early because your baby is scheduled to come out of Lizzie's womb like 2 weeks before my wedding, and you and Lizzie are both in my wedding party.
Yeah, the new baby drops during your wedding.
Did I tell? I think I told Lizzie, but I don't know if I ever talked to you about it. One of Liz's bridesmaids is also pregnant and is due like 3 days after the wedding.
Yeah, yeah. You had mentioned, and apparently Liz took that as a challenge. It's a race.
It's biologically that's not very fair to Liz's friend Elaine, but I'm still a fan of it because it's very funny to me.
See, the joke was, to my knowledge, oh, it's just who gives birth first. And then I found out that the actual joke to Liz was who can give birth first or quickest at the wedding.
Oh no, please don't do that. Well, I mean, you can't control it, but if I could choose whether your wife and my future wife's friend Elaine gave birth at my wedding, I would choose them not to. I'll say that much. How about that?
Fair, fair. Very reasonable.
Also, I found out that my boss is pregnant and also giving birth in October. So
Boy,
something's
howdy.
happening.
That's so many babies.
Yeah, I feel bad from I'm on like a 4-person team. So half of us will be gone for, the first half of November, which is sucks for the other two, but that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, that'll
I'm
do
gonna
it.
honeymoon. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this is ostensibly a podcast about cars, but not those cars. So, what would a wedding be like but cars, John?
All right, so we've talked about a ring before. We talked
Yes.
about it. What is a ring? It's hubcap.
It's
Maybe
hubcap.
a specific kind of tire. Who knows?
Ooh,
But
actually, John,
mhm.
I'm sure you were about to suggest something vis-a-vis a ring, but I just had a thought. What if the wedding ring is a specific? I'm blanking on the name, like nut, like
Lug nut?
like a specific lug nut holding the hubcap in.
Yep. That would also be very good because typically I think there's 6.
Like
So it's almost
fingers.
like fingers.
Yes, and one of them's gold, and it would be easy and visible to see
Mm-hmm.
for people who wanted to hit on them. Man, we figured it out. That's what wedding rings is.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, a fox just crossed the street outside my window. I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't know there were foxes that lived by my house.
You know, when you said that, I immediately thought of a fox just like in a yard, and then I realized, oh, that's not a thing.
I live in a very urban area.
Yeah, I like there's grass around you, I'm sure, but
Yeah,
like you gotta look for it.
yeah. Anyway, what were you saying before I made my incredible snap judgment on lug nuts being wedding rings?
I don't know if it counts as snap judgment because we did talk about that in our episode about it.
Lug nuts specifically, or just the hubcap?
Lug nuts.
Ah, darn. Oh well.
It's, man, here's the thing. We've talked about so much on this podcast, which you have to when you've got a podcast that's been on for 150 hours.
Oh man,
150 hours of us just talking.
this is episode 150. Congrats to us.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've talked about that. And we've talked about if, okay, so anyone hears about our podcast, they got the question, oh, well, have you talked about, yes.
Yeah.
If you try a bit hard, you can find something we haven't talked about. But your first 4 or 5, yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah.
But so I am a man
True.
who has some insecurities that are only sated in a very dumb, like specific way. I need compliments from strangers to think that a thing is true about me. Because if a person who cares about me says it, maybe they're saying it because they care about me. But if a stranger says it, if a stranger goes out of their way to tell you something nice about you, then you know that's true. Or at least you know they mean it. And boy howdy, it does not affect me at all wearing a wedding ring. That is to say that the amount of people who flirted with me before and since has not changed. And it's like 2 a year. And it's always like, uh, here's the unfortunate thing, like a friend, which makes it sad,
Yeah.
or an aggressive flirting stranger. And I love that. But
Yeah.
like also bold choice. Have
Yeah.
I told you the story of the time I went to someone's wedding and then the after party and someone decided to flirt with me by being just very upfront about it
I don't
in
think you
a
have. No.
non. Okay, so I go to the after party and there is some really good wine and I have quite a few drinks. And apparently, I was told this by one of the people who got married, or maybe even I think it may have been Dana who told me, but there was someone who was like counting my drinks
Oh God.
and not in the like judgy way of
Sure.
like, oh, that's number 6, John, you got to slow down, but apparently in the is it time to shoot my shot way.
Yeah.
So
That was what the Oh God was about. Yeah.
so I go out into the back of their like a garage, which is a really nice like setup where that's the party event space, and I sit like on swinging. I don't know. It's swinging bench, I guess. And and then this nice lady comes out, and she sits next to me, and then not next to me. She just places her legs on top of me,
Hmm.
and I don't know how to handle that. And I've had quite a few drinks,
As
so
she
I'm
knew.
like, I cannot react to this in an appropriate way. I don't know how to handle things right now. So what I do is I think I just say, "Oh, what? Is someone calling for me?" And I just walk away.
And that's why they call you John Cameron Smooth Moves Bishop.
Absolutely. Uh, and I think I went and I got my wife and I was like, "Hey, uh, could you just like follow me
Sure.
for the night?" And that did help, I think.
I
Uh,
gotta imagine your wife, one of my like top 10 favorite people in the world, for all of the things I love about her, is one of the most jealous and territorial people I have ever met in my life.
yeah, yeah. And occasionally, as in this story, that is very helpful.
Sure. No, yeah. It can
Uh,
come in handy.
I think I got up the strength of conviction to at one point be like, "So yeah, how are you? I'm good. My wife is also good." Like the most overt, like, "Oh, I'm making an effort to mention my wife so that I don't have to say stop flirting with me, please." Because here's the thing.
Here's
I
the thing.
love people showing me positive attention in that way,
Sure. Who
but
doesn't?
I am very bad at setting boundaries as a person.
Yeah, that's fair. That's not a great combo.
Yeah. Uh, and I have no grasp on when people like me,
Mm,
I hope, because there have been 2 or 3 situations, as I mentioned before, where friends will just be flirting with me and I won't know it. And as a woman, as a territorial wife, my wife handles it so well by trying to restrain the urge to just, I don't know. She's not a fighty person, but I feel like there's a side of her that wants to get into a fisticuffs match with anyone. Like not a I'm gonna punch you, like a hey, uh pistols at dawn.
almost defending her honor kind of
Yeah.
energy. Yeah.
It's not a I'm gonna sucker punch you. It's not a I'm a violent person. It's a you have offended my honor. I will have satisfaction.
That's actually, yeah, I completely jive with that.
Yeah. And boy howdy. I guess I don't know if this is accurate, but I feel like if in any way I'm a himbo, it would be that of the like, wait, what? She likes me? Oh no. There are things that I don't get, and people liking me is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm engaged, so we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So I can tell you all kinds of stuff that you have to think about when you get married. Also, John has fully been married, so he can tell you all those things too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Here's one thing that is unfortunate. As a person, I like to think of myself as creative and artistic, but societal norms. So, because of that, I was not a major component when it comes to making the decisions for my wedding,
mhm.
which, if you attended, you would not understand because you'd assume that I definitely was. Because my wife, a wonderful person she is this. I don't want this to sound like a criticism,
Okay,
but
to phrase it well, then, man.
she is more than happy to sacrifice for what she assumes will make other people happy.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
If she knows you like something, she will make the assumption that you will like theming the entire wedding that the two of you are going to share after the thing that you like and not necessarily the things that she likes. So we had a superhero wedding, and she likes superheroes, but as she has confessed herself, she mostly likes it because she's with me.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as like she'll drop them as soon as anything happens. It's more that because of me, she was introduced to them in a way that she has grown to like them.
Yeah.
But because of that, she decided the wedding's theme was going to be superheroes, which it was lovely and all that. But like, bold choice for also, well, he doesn't need to be a part of the decision making.
Yeah.
And here's another part of it, stereotypes and all that. I'm going to go ahead and say something that,
Sure.
again, I got to be careful about, but I'm not going to treat all that carefully. Uh, if there is like a somewhat generic stereotype, there's a good chance it applies to me and my wife. And that's just an unfortunate reality.
Sure.
Uh, so, like, her mother and her sisters, they were of the mindset of, yeah, we don't need to involve him. He doesn't need to be a part of all that.
Yeah. That,
So there's the mentality of that,
yeah.
and I hope that in the Cars world and in your world, Lucas, that is not the case.
Yeah, it's been a
Unless, of course, everyone wants it to be.
sure. It's been a pretty collaborative process. I will say I myself am falling into the stereotype more often than I want to of Liz will ask me my opinion on something and I will stare at two images that look exactly the same to my eyes for 10 full minutes and say, I don't know, this one. And she'll say, well, I like this one. I say, great, we should do that one. And she'll say, but you like that one. I said, hey, straight up, I just sort of picked one.
Lucas, can I teach you a little trick here?
Sure.
It's the phrase, well, let me see them again.
That's good. That's actually really good.
Well, let me see them again. You look at them both and be like, no, you're right. You're
Now
right.
that you
That's
mention it,
definitely better.
make sure they've mentioned something about it and be like, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Oh, now that you mention it, it's going to go great with the doilies.
Yes, I did. I didn't consider the doilies. Uh, but
Gotta consider the doilies.
on the other hand, I have been having a lot of fun. I got to design our save the date, which was fun for me.
Nice, nice. Lovely, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, I hope it doesn't shake out that way in the Cars verse. I imagine specifically in the Cars verse, it probably would because their world reflects ours, and
In a
B,
stereotypical way.
yes, it reflects it in the way movies do, which is
Mhm.
stereotypically.
It not only reflects, but amplifies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably. And that gets me because you think about the situation where one of them's supposed to wear a tux, the other one's supposed to wear a dress, and the stereotype or the situation that's supposed to be around that is, oh, it takes so much time and prep and energy to get the bride to be all pampered up and dolled up, and then the guy just shows up in a tux, hopefully without visible scars or bruising because of the night before. Uh, And I imagine that that's going to be somehow present, even though it's just a new paint job for both of them.
I will say, and this is something that was certain to come up at some point, we have fully seen a full episode of television dedicated to what Cars weddings are like.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And the problem with that is that we have to assume that Mato is not the stereotypical bride.
and I mean, the entire episode, leads us to think that.
Absolutely, because stereotype for bride is that she's in prep all day, every day, and then like the day of, she's the one that's like, oh, I hope nothing goes wrong, and then her bridesmaids are all like, we're gonna make sure nothing goes wrong and nothing delays the wedding. And in true Mato fashion, she is the thing that's delaying the wedding.
But
Has
yeah,
something occurred?
yeah, Liz just got home from yoga.
Ah, nice.
Hi,
I
Liz.
wish I could do yoga. Hello?
John says hello. She does aerial yoga, like on aerial silks, you know?
What's a sylph?
Like a silk, like those, like,
Oh,
yeah.
shoot. That is far more intense.
Yeah, I think today was like a normal one on the ground. Restorative yoga? Was that what
It
it
was still aerial, but it was restorative, so you're not like holding yourself up.
Oh, fascinating.
Is she getting like friggin' shredded?
I think so. It's cool. Uh, but anyway.
Now, I'm a person who's somewhat into fitness and also likes to be afraid and is afraid of heights. But I don't think I could do that.
I think, like, how high off the ground do you ever get? Like a foot or two, Liz?
No.
You get higher?
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm gonna come in.
Yeah.
So it's essentially like right here is where the silk hangs.
Like at your waist?
So like when you push it down, you want it right there.
Sure.
So, which is high enough for you to flip upside down without hitting your head. It gives you about a foot above your head. And then you also like go up in it. So you'll be standing in it like,
yeah,
you'll stand in it and then you flip from standing sometimes.
So like,
so pretty high.
4 or 5 feet sounds like to me. That's crazy.
Boy, howdy. I think I could do that emotionally and mentally. I don't know physically.
See, yeah, physically is a big issue for me. Also the other ones, though.
Mm-hmm. Boy, howdy. Man, seeing people do those flips and whatnot, it's impressive, but like, whenever I've tried to do anything like that, can't do it. I have had to learn a lesson about myself as a person, and that is, I like physicality does not come natural to me. Period. If it's catching something, I get in my head, I guess, and I just can't. I'm all thumbs, which you'd think would be great because thumbs are very versatile, but no.
Mm.
I'm bad at catching. I'm bad at anything that requires coordination. I have almost no balance other than like being able to stand. The other day, I think it was yesterday, my big old brother decided to come to my house, and then someone mentioned getting someone's feet out from underneath them, and then he decided, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna throw my brother onto the ground.
Sure.
And for the first time I can recall ever, he did not succeed.
Hey, good job.
It was a triumph.
Yeah.
And for those of you curious, he is 6'4". I am 5'10".
But I mean, even if that's reversed, just getting one up on your older brother physically is chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
I know all about that. Well,
yeah.
I don't because it's exceedingly rare that it happens with me and Ben. But
well, I also imagine that Ben didn't used to like do the stereotype of I'm gonna step on you and then loogie down and suck it back up.
He didn't do that in particular, but we were probably more physical than you would imagine the two of us would be.
I would not imagine you two being very physical, I gotta admit.
Yeah. Like, not crazy, but like we'd wrestle and stuff.
Yeah. I once tried to fist fight Joey over who gets the top bunk because he always got the bottom. And I was like, well, I want it at least once. And he was like, no. So I tried to fight him, and then he just defeated me whole hand, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you win this time, and then that was it.
And then you did your training montage, and then from there,
He still won.
oh, well, that's a shame.
I don't
But
know what it is, but Joey's torso's got some weird strength to it.
yeah,
Because I didn't want to like actually risk either of us getting hurt, but I did want to fight him, and that just becomes grappling, which means if you got core strength, you're good.
Yeah, the game's over. But John, I don't know how brides get prettied up when they're cars.
Well, one thing you can do is a nice wax buffer. You get a nice
That's
cleaning,
nice.
you dry it, and then you do a nice wax buffer, and you get a good gloss on that, a good finish, and man, your car looks brand new.
And I think I may be remembering this wrong, but I think there is a photograph of Lizzie and Stanley on their wedding day,
And
and she has fully been painted white.
I just remember like the headdress.
She also has that, but I just pulled it up. She has also fully been painted white.
Nice.
Which for a Model T is very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
They are famously only one color.
Yeah. Man, I'm sure you've heard it, but if you haven't, I want you to know that Gigi has been scream crying for the past like 20 minutes.
Sure.
And I don't think you can tell this, but one thing that's adorable and interesting about her scream cry is she's got like a Seth Rogen undertone to it, and it's great, but it's also so strange.
Huh. I imagine it would be. I don't think I can make that out, but you've painted a good word picture for me, John. I'll say that.
There's definitely like a growling element to it.
Okay, yeah, okay. I think I see what you're saying. I don't hear the Rogan, but I wish I did.
You don't hear the Kong?
Well, I wouldn't know yet. I haven't partaken quite yet.
Me either. And
I have seen the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which is fantastic.
I have not watched more than like one movie in a movie theater in the past like year, and maybe two in the past 2 years.
Well, what changed roughly 2 years ago, John?
Well, it was about 2.5 to 3 now, right?
Yeah.
Because it started in like November before it actually got serious in the next February and March. Boy, howdy.
Man.
Can you believe it's over?
No.
I mean, it's fully not, but it officially is. Oh, boy.
I was going to say that a good wedding present for me would be the Stanley and Lizzie wedding die casts, but I looked it up on eBay and the cheapest I could find them for is $300. So don't do that. I don't think I have to tell you to not do that because of, you being a sane human being. But don't do. I don't want someone to spend $300 on Cars toys for me.
Now, even if they're
thematically appropriate.
Here's a problem with that is out of box, I think I found them for less.
Okay. Now we're talking. Let's say don't get into triple figures on cars diecasts for me.
Fair enough.
That's my rule, because then I start to feel bad.
Oh boy, there's some wear and tear on these ones.
But hey, sometimes when you're collecting, you got to go for the ones that aren't quite mint condition if you're going on a budget, and just say, I wanted the Vaporeon. I wish I hadn't said Vaporeon because of the memes. I wanted the Eevee, so I just got the one that has a little bit of white on the back, You know of the Vaporeon memes, correct?
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, you didn't. They're the worst in the entire world.
So you said it and I was like, I gotta know. I'm assuming it's this. It is. Oh no.
I will say someone did an AI of Tucker Carlson's voice doing that whole speech, which is the only one of those I've enjoyed.
Okay, so you look up Vaporeon meme, and the fourth result, like suggestion from Google, is just the word lube.
Oh Christ, that sucks. That
Hey
sucks
guys.
so
All right,
much.
so for our listening audience, I'm gonna read you the image that is just right on my screen right now. It's, hey guys, did you know that in terms of male human and female Pokemon breeding, Vaporeon is the most compatible Pokemon for humans? What?
There's a longer version that details why, but I don't want you to read that on our podcast, in which we
Is it
try
this
to
4chan post?
probably don't read it, please.
Okay, but I will mention it. Just a brief skim, the word nipples is in it.
Okay.
All right, so weddings.
Yes.
What are you
We have
gonna
talked
do?
about nothing about cars. And we've gone for almost 40 minutes. Let's see.
You get all dolled up, you get nice and waxed. Where do you go from there?
You go get your picture took. And that's probably just normal. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How would they like hold each other romantically like in the wedding pictures you always see? Well, what would be some romantic poses for Stanley and Lizzie on their wedding day when they are getting their wedding types or whatever?
Apparently, it's both of them facing center and looking. Well, one of them's looking at the camera, one's looking off into the distance, and both just smiling. Seems romantic.
Yeah, and it seems like that's a very like old style picture to
Mm-hmm.
take, but like what else could they do?
All right, so let's think of some wild and crazy pictures that people take nowadays.
Yeah.
There's one that I've seen. Don't know what's going on there. As Kim Kardashian laying on just an absolutely jacked dude doing like a push up. And if cars were to do that, it wouldn't seem like laying is the problem.
Yeah, okay. I'm getting your drift. Sort of a Vaporeon situation. Uh Yeah, that's the only one I could think of that they could feasibly like pose in a cute way is one on top of the other. But
I
yeah,
guess
you're right.
nudging each other from the side.
Yeah, they can sort of like angle their face parts together
Mm-hmm.
and they can kiss. I get. Have we ever seen a on-screen Cars kiss?
I wish, but I don't think so.
God, John wishes every day of his life.
Mm-hmm. If there's one thing I could wish for, one thing, it would not be that, for sure. But if I had 300,000 wishes, that might be one. Just
Yeah,
because I've got too many.
yeah, you can cover a lot of ground with a single wish.
Mm-hmm.
If you are like myself and presumably John, think too much about what you would wish for if a genie gave you wishes.
The power to bend reality to my whim.
Uh, I think my first wish would be a kind of general like for you not to make my other wishes backfire, kind of any of my wishes backfire.
I wish for all of my wishes to be as intended rather than as written.
To be not intended to teach me a lesson about something.
I don't want any paws of monkeys.
Because I worry about that. That's more what I worry about than wasting wishes. Is like wishing for something and like causing the basically doing the two wishes and having to undo the two wishes with my third wish because they've gone horribly awry. You know.
Mm-hmm. Boy, howdy, have you seen Bedazzled?
I haven't. I don't know what that is.
It is a movie where it's a haha, you get wishes, but they don't go so good. Except it's Brendan Fraser, Brendan Fraser, and he basically is in love with a girl, and he wants to make wishes that will help him get the girl and the life that he wants and deserves. And
Sounds like
something
Aladdin.
always goes wrong, of course. But it's always like comedically changing his life. For some reason, one of his wishes is interpreted as make me into. I think he wishes for wealth, and what he gets is he is now the leader of a drug cartel.
Ah,
So that's fun. One of his other wishes is to be like, I guess, a famous sports star. And here's the weird thing: they make him into that, and then do you want to know what the genie's twist is?
I can't think of it. So yeah, go ahead and tell me.
Tiny wiener.
Now that's not okay. That one's not.
That's not a, like that's not something people associate with that. It's not connected to playing sport. How do you get that from that?
That's just one that they could do that for all of them. You know.
Yeah,
I guess
like
I guess maybe there's the thing where steroids supposedly shrink your balls.
not even supposedly. They
They
do
do? Okay.
shrink your testicles.
I figured that was based in some science, but I didn't know it for sure, so I wanted to couch it a bit.
I
So I
have, like many a person who goes to the gym, just been like, okay, like, what are the downsides? And they're like, oh, extreme and varied.
yeah, that seems to be about it. So I guess that could be maybe what they were going for, but no, it seems like the genie was like, ah, no, they've got a pretty airtight one on this one. Let's just throw a classic at him.
Tiny wiener. He didn't wish to not have a tiny wiener.
Idiot.
And here's the best I can assume is that he is a giant when he is the sports star because he's playing basketball and he can dunk without jumping, basically. And I guess if I had to guess, it's they make him a giant and don't change anything proportionally.
Sure.
It's just that stays the same size, which in that case, like, you gotta assume he's got a regular size.
Yeah.
Because, like, the statistics on that are all shot and strange and whatnot. But, I mean, here's a thought that I've had, and this is uncomfortable. And if you're a listener who doesn't want to hear my thoughts on famous basketball players Wang Doodles, uh, Shaquille O'Neal, in order to be a proportional human being, has to have a very large one.
Sure.
Just you have to assume that.
Sure.
I have no evidence to support that, but I just gotta assume. Especially because of the hilarious meme that isn't even a meme. It's just a picture of him and like his girlfriend at the time, and she was a very tiny woman.
Ah.
And that's the entire joke. Is just putting them beside each other and being like, if you know, you know, and which like, sure, but also like gross.
Yeah.
But maybe that's it. It's just a proportional thing. How did we get on that topic?
You wish to see a car kissing every night before you go to bed, and then we got on to genies. I did want to mention
And
in terms,
Vaporeon.
yes, Vaporeon.
Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately. I did want to mention while we're talking about genie media. I haven't actually read this, but there's a comic series out right now called 8 Billion Genies that I've heard incredible things about. That's about if every single person in the world got their own personal genie in one wish, and how that goes very badly very quickly.
How many people do you think could just be randomly given a wish and it not turn out terribly?
Two.
Two? Okay. Two people in the world, and it's just one wish.
Yeah,
All right.
but
Okay.
that there's a reason that humans don't have the power to alter reality to their whim. That's an objectively good thing.
See, here's what I want to play like devil's advocate and like, well, the reason is because that's not possible. But like morally I hope it never happens.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I guess there's the argument of like, what if VR gets to the point where you can just have your own world? Sure, in that case, yeah.
John, how does the car DJ spin the car records?
Well, he just bends his body in cartoonish fashion and then just wikis.
I guess it would just be there is a literal character named DJ. Now that I think about it,
And he
uh,
does it by having his buttocks just move.
I mean, but like, I'm thinking about it, and if I just had a cyborg at my wedding, like, who you could see like the innards of his jukebox steampunk core working to create all the records, that sounds sick as hell, actually.
Absolutely. And if you let me, which you shouldn't,
Sure.
I would do it.
Hey, Matt, how about this? If it happens for an unrelated reason, then sure. But
Okay.
don't make it happen to yourself for my wedding. How about that?
Okay. See, I could just go like half-hearted about it and make a robot suit that just makes me look like a cyborg.
No, you have to be a real cyborg.
Well,
People could tell.
here's one thing I will say. I do have some extra space in my chest.
That's true.
I got a hold of Phil.
I would argue you have actually less extra space in your chest than most people.
Well, I've got extra space in the front end is dented, and you can fill that dent with a subwoofer.
Yeah, you've got extra space in between your chest and like your clothes, but less space than most in your actual body.
Yeah, my body is definitely a bit compressed. If I die at 50, no one's gonna be suspicious.
Deeply sad, man. Uh, uh, but yeah, so we've solved DJ. Cake is cake. We're gonna figure this. Liz, what are other things we're doing for the wedding that can be carified?
Lucas, you didn't make it gross though.
Cake?
Stripper cake.
Oh, at the bachelor party. I thought I was like, I don't really think people do stripper cakes at weddings, John.
Well, they do stripper cakes because of weddings.
Yeah, okay, sure. So let's fully pivot to the bachelorette party here. Good call.
All right. Uh okay. What's the thing? What is the bachelorette shape that everything is? Cuz it can't just be a headlight.
Yeah, I mean, we've come
Exhaust
up.
pipe.
That's an anus. It's not like we haven't come up to what's the penis before, John.
Mm-hmm. What's the penis? But what is the sexual organ that is the funny thing everything's made of at a party?
I mean,
What
yeah,
funny shape is there for a car that is also genitals?
headlights feel very boobs to me.
Mm-hmm. And let's face it, it's not funny when bachelor party has boobs. It's funny when bachelorette party has straw penis.
And it kind of is. That's
Mm-hmm.
the issue. Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. Only thing I could come up with, and this doesn't make sense because it's part of like a gas station, but the fuel pump is the only thing I'm coming up with that feels penisy.
Okay, but I definitely get it, and I'm
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, for sure.
All
Maybe
right.
it's just all artificial insemination. Sure.
Or vibrator.
That's true. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like that. Maybe it may have been strong language in retrospect, but can't take it back now. We did mention strippers, John. What
Mm-hmm.
horrors are they in the cars first? What are they taking off?
Unfortunately, we do know it's convertibles because of honkers.
That's true from that deleted scene. Yeah, and from the sign that's actually in the universe.
Mm-hmm. Honkers would make you think that they're just flashing their headlights, or maybe they're the type of car that their headlights just pop out. But no, it's convertibles. And
What's in there
that's
that is so
horrifying.
sexy? Is
The
it the
squishy
squishy
bit.
Oh,
It's
I
the
don't like
squishy
that.
bit, for sure.
Well, that sucks. How do they make a show out of it? Seems like they.
It's
I've
not
never.
about what you show, it's about how you show it.
Sure. So maybe they've just got a bunch of layers of convertible tops that just keep coming off a little bit, but some of them have little windows in it.
I'm thinking it's just a really slow reveal while you're like doing some sort of dance routine.
So okay. So what I'm imagining what we have described in my head that is a sexual strip tease in the Cars verse is like a convertible doing donuts while its convertible top very slowly converts.
Yeah. And maybe some like a rat-a-tat-taz with some good old tire movement.
Oh, if they're into the tires, they gotta pay extra.
Mm-hmm. You want to be. Oh no, I can't even. What is it called when you have like the tire tread on the road? I can only think of something terrible. And
a skid mark?
I'm thinking skid mark. Is that what that is?
I mean, that's a word for it, yeah.
Because like, as a man with a young child, I think skid mark and I think poop mark.
No, yeah.
And if you want that, you gotta pay even more extra.
This sucks.
Oh.
Let's for your bachelor party, we played laser tag. How would laser tag work? Exactly the same.
Basically the same as Finn McMissile does. It's just a thing that either pops out of you or is attached to you, I guess.
Yeah.
You just got like a cool laser that someone else suction cups to the side of you.
Now, I'm imagining it would either be really, really cool because they're high speed vehicles, just, drifting all over the place, going at top speed, around corners, or the arenas haven't changed that much and they have to just sort of inch around in them and they're giant, so they always get hit immediately.
Uh,
And I don't
to
know
make
which
it
is funnier and better to me.
to make it dumb fun, I like the idea of tiny little targets on the body.
Ooh, that would help with the with the games being just horrible.
Absolutely. Or maybe this is a dumb fun thing that I like. What if it's just you drive around trying not to get hit by like a laser that's strobing around?
I think they're like making places like that now. I've been seeing
Which
TikToks of
sounds
them.
so fun. Like
It
I've seen
does.
one where it's like, okay, uh here's an ad, you got to step on the tiles. I just got hit with the strongest like yawn, like, oh, you're doing it right now, and it just happened and my mouth just agape.
Hey man,
And that was almost scary cuz like I didn't get a choice in that matter.
no judgment here.
But man, it looks so fun because it's like, oh, here's the wall, here's the entire floor of this giant room where you got to run with your friends, and I haven't seen like the actual location, and I'm sad. And I hope
Yeah,
it doesn't end up like one of the smashing rooms because the smashing room was a little fun, but also it's just like, all right, go in there, be safe. Here's all your safety equipment that you're required to wear legally. You get a safety bat and some other tools, and you get 12 bottles that you have to hit from either a distance. Everyone gets behind this wall. Everything safety regulation. Like, I came here to break stuff and be dumb, and you're making me think and be safe, and I don't like it. Which I imagine if they didn't, they'd get sued out the wazoo immediately.
immediately. Yeah,
Of course.
they would open their doors and then immediately be injuncted or whatever the
Yeah,
legal term is.
absolutely. And that is what would happen.
Sure.
That is the world we live in, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That is like safety is something people care about.
But it's not a
But
bad thing that you were disappointed either,
yeah, like it's fair to want to break stuff like there's no tomorrow, but also you can't just break stuff like there's no tomorrow.
If you want to do that, do it in the confines of your own home.
And also, please be safe about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like we're gonna absolve ourselves of anything. Like don't do it is the official stance of the podcast.
Oh
But
yeah, I was not
also,
advocating you do that.
do whatever you want because you are a free person. It is the opinion of the podcast that you should not break stuff ever. Unless for some reason you have to.
Sure. They also have in those ads like laser grids where you have to like sneak through like you're in a heist movie,
Oh, that sounds so good.
which seems pretty cool. So we've done bachelorette party. We've done photographer, DJ. I can't think of anything interesting to say about the ceremony whatsoever.
Flower girl,
Flower
ring
girl.
bearer.
Uh,
I'll tell you this right now. I knew this would happen. It did happen. Had a ring bearer, had the key on the thing, and I knew that somehow, some way, ring was gonna fall. It
Sure.
fell.
yeah.
Picked it up, perfectly fine. Now, if I were a car, like
Yeah.
what of their hands, man?
Okay, let's back up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we've said the ring is the lug nut. I'm very excited about the fact that they gotta get like a high, whatever those things are that they use in the pit stops that go pew, 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 and take it off and put a new one on, which is very funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if the lug nut falls off of the padded cushion onto the ground, I guess you just hope you have some forklift friends who can take a minute and a few tries and maybe just push it up next to the bride.
Mm-hmm. See, that's one thing that I'm thinking about this whole situation is that that's one thing you cannot do the same way exactly in this world is that you don't put the ring on your bride, someone else does it. It's just, yeah, you got a crew for that.
Maybe the officiant is always a forklift because any working stiff is always a forklift.
Not to say anything against any church, but like I wouldn't consider most members of the church to be working stiffs.
Yeah, that's fair. They're certainly not blue collar. As a matter of fact, they literally oftentimes have white collars.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, that is a white collar job right there that AI is not going to take.
But okay, I'm not going to advocate for AI taking anyone's jobs.
But AI officiated wedding sounds awesome.
I was more thinking AI just this is really showing how long it's been since I've been to a church service. Yes, an AI generated church service. I would go once just to see what's up.
Oh boy, howdy! It take Reddit half a second to make it the worst thing.
See,
just the worst.
The thing is, I bet if you just asked Chat GPT, like, hey, write me a homily or whatever it's called. I don't remember what a homily is. I just sort of said a word. But to write like a church service, I bet it'd do a pretty good job. It's good at things.
Yeah. It is a religious discourse that is intended primarily for spiritual edification rather than doctrinal instruction.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. It's performative rather than instructional.
Oh man, yeah, I actually had Chat GPT open because I wanted to go through the episode ideas it gave us last time to see if any were actually good and we should use them.
Yeah.
And I told it to write a homily, and I'm not going to read it, but I'm glancing through it. It's pretty good.
It's got a lot of weird, strong convictions, religious fervor, I would say. Oh boy, man, AI taking that position and doing people's weddings means that my likelihood of ever being the officiant at someone's wedding is going to be even smaller. Man,
that would be really cool.
I would love to do it. Hey, if you're having a wedding and you want your favorite podcast host to do it, Lucas hasn't volunteered yet, but I will. I'll step up and take his place.
I'm doing whatever the opposite of volunteering is. Opting out, I'll call it that.
Preemptive refusal.
Yes, that's a better. Thank you, John.
All right.
Was it
So,
Mackenzie who wanted to officiate my wedding that you told me?
I think her stance was something akin to presuming that she'd be able to and just saying, oh, yeah, I'll do it.
So not presuming we'd ask, but presuming she'd be good at it? Is that sort of the vibe?
Not thinking that you would ask, but assuming that you would be okay with her just assuming the responsibility.
Ah. Okay, sure. Not sure. Mackenzie, I've cut this out, but if I haven't, you're not officiating our wedding. I love you
The
very
answer
much.
is no. If John doesn't get to do it, then you definitely don't get to do it. I'm like at least 8th in line.
Those weren't my words, but sure.
All right, Lucas, true facts. Am I at least 8th in line?
Okay, sure, I'll do this. So the person we actually have officiating is obviously first in line. Then
I gotta assume Ben is like number
he's up
3.
there. Yeah, he's up there somewhere high.
Now here's one weird. I feel like your dad would do a good job, but I don't feel like you'd be comfortable with it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing about Liz's dad. I think he would do a good job, but I don't think we would want him to do it.
Man, the problem with both of us being with someone named Liz is that my immediate knee-jerk reaction is Liz doesn't have a dad.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. I'll say probably top 5. I'll give you that.
Yes. All right, I'll take it.
Good for you, man. Congrats, I guess.
Good day. It's one of those things where like shouldn't be as important to me as it is, but it is.
You don't get to choose sometimes what's important to you.
Yeah,
That's an important lesson to learn. And it's important to, if it's not harmful, just roll with it.
it's good to know yourself and accept yourself in certain ways. And I accept that for some reason I want to be an officiant at someone's wedding, and just knowing that people are okay with the idea of it down the line is pretty good.
Yeah, I think you would do a fine job. I think you would. Oh, how would you feel about DJing a wedding?
Honestly, much worse.
Yeah,
simply because
I didn't feel great about it either.
As far as giving monologues in front of an audience, I've got a lot of experience with that. In terms of comptrolling, almost none.
I'm not sure that word means what you meant it to mean just there, but I don't know enough to refute it outright, so I'll just say that.
I'm using it to be in reference to whatever. Shoot. It is Davis. Okay, I don't know why it felt wrong to say Jeff Davis. Well, it's because it's Jeff B. Davis. He is the comptroller for Harmontown, and that's kind of something he does. He's not the host, but he's the guy that let's move this along, let's introduce this guest and whatnot. But the thing is, the reason he goes by comptroller is because it's Harmontown, and he's supposed to be the government official, the comptroller.
Sure.
Except, from what I'm told or what I understand, it is controller, which is dumb.
That is dumb. I'm pretty sure that they're an accountant, though, is what I was getting at.
Yeah. But any sort of hosting or DJing experience, I don't have it. I've got at best on a few road trips, I have been the guy okay, what does everyone listen to right now?
I mean, I did that for Mackenzie's wedding, and I didn't have any real experience, but to her credit, Mackenzie was like, here's a Spotify playlist, play this, call the people to go get their food in order by table, and at some point we're doing the shoe game. Here are a list of questions. And I said, great.
Wow. That sounds perfect for me.
Oh, yeah.
You give me rote instructions, I am golden.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I was worried about it, and then it was fine. So that's a lot of my life, honestly.
And if you want Lucas to do that for your wedding, I can vouch that he did a good job.
He was there. That's true. I did call your table at some point.
And we did eat.
Man, I'm great at it. Have we said enough about weddings and cars to call it an episode? Probably not, but
Absolutely not.
we're going to do it anyway, though.
Lucas, we
Yeah.
got one last thing
Okay.
that we need to talk about.
I'm ready.
All right. This is a touchy subject.
Sure.
It's some hard hitting stuff. Did you know? I don't know why I haven't introduced it. This is my fun fact of the day.
Oh, great.
Lucas, I'm gonna have you guess. Guess the place that made gay marriage legal first worldwide in like a national
worldwide.
sense.
I was so ready to say Vermont. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, actually.
All right, but if you had to guess,
It's going to be, I would guess, some European country, maybe one of the Nordic countries. Norway is what I'll say for some reason. If Norwegians are famously homophobic, sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't think they are also.
All right. Well, here's the thing. The place that is the first, like, okay, here's how it's described by The Guardian. First country to legalize gay marriage by popular vote. This is what I'm saying. A fun fact of the day. First country to legalize gay marriage by popular vote is, of course, well known for homophobia due to being extremely Catholic, Ireland.
I knew that, actually, for some reason.
Yeah.
Gosh darn, I thought of it, and then I thought, no, that doesn't make sense. Which I'm sorry to any Irish listeners. Good for you.
Yeah. Good on you, Ireland. That's good on you.
That is a fun fact.
It's incredibly sad that it was as recent as it was.
That's true.
I think it was 2015. Just like a year before America.
I am looking at it. I've Googled timeline of, I've Googled first country, and then I'm on the Wikipedia page timeline of same-sex marriage. And according to this, the Netherlands legalized it nationally in 2001, which good for them.
Ooh, nice.
Maybe just not by a popular vote. You know?
Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking that's the distinction, because including that in the title of is by popular vote just means that like everyone was like, okay, we're just gonna make it legal. And even though the vote doesn't have it as popular, it's the right thing to do.
Hey, here we go. Number 7, Norway. Good for me. I'm great. Good for the Norwegians.
When was it in America?
It was
because I said 2016.
Yeah,
and that
it was
felt
while we were
wrong
in college.
because that sounds like the worst year ever.
Yeah, that's true.
For reasons.
No, people know the reasons. Yeah, it was while we were in college. I want to say 2015. Let me scroll down. Yeah, 2015.
All right, so Ireland just barely beat us to it.
What are you gonna do?
All right. Boy, howdy. And that's, of course, by popular vote. But yeah, congratulations, Ireland. And congratulations, Norway.
And the Netherlands, who were
and
the
Netherlands.
actual... Again, according to this Wikipedia article, the first to do it.
Well, the thing is, the Netherlands, like, of course it was the Netherlands.
Am I right? We have opinions about them.
We have such strong opinions. They exist, and I don't know if that's the one where they have a bunch of different names for the things.
I get so confused about the Netherlands and Holland and Denmark and Danish people.
Danes, the Dutch. What a duchy is, because that's not related, but it feels like it should be.
Yeah, that's what like a duke and a duchess oversee, right?
Yeah,
like
they preside over a duchy, but doesn't have anything to do with the Dutch specifically.
I only know that because I tried out Crusader Kings once, the video game, and it deeply, deeply confused me. And I was like, I could see myself also becoming deeply obsessed with this. So
and political marriages are a big part.
Yeah,
bringing it back. Crusader Kings. It's From my experience, pretty interesting.
No, yeah. I was at the point where I wasn't obsessed with it and I wasn't getting it, and I was like, it's probably best that I keep it that way.
Yeah. I played like an hour. I'm like, if I want to enjoy this, I have to do the thing that will get me to the point where I will enjoy it too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So instead, I recently bought a Miu Mini Plus, and I'm hoping that doesn't become a problem.
A what? What is it?
A Miu Mini Plus. It's a retro gaming system, and as best as I can describe it, is like a super Game Boy.
That sounds sick, man.
Yeah. I wanted the Miu Mini, but they were really popular and sold out immediately, and because it's a custom screen size, they couldn't do it anymore.
Man, I will say also, technology is the easiest thing in the world to upsell me on.
Mm-hmm. Boy, howdy. Well, I think that is where we'll end it.
Yeah, that's an episode of a podcast if I've ever heard one.
Hopefully, all the things we cut out won't take too much time off of this episode.
And if they did, I don't know. It's our podcast. And
subscribe
thank you
to our Patreon so you can get the juicy bits.
Don't do that. We don't have one. Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it, especially when we don't talk that much about cars and mostly just tell stories about stuff that happened in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to send us ideas of stuff to talk about, as I often say, clearly we need them and we always appreciate them. You can do so by emailing us at thekachat at thekachat@gmail.com, or you can tweet at us or DM us on Twitter, which is at thekachat. Now, John will say his part of the outro.
Remember to like, comment, subscribe, tell anyone and everyone you think might be the least bit interested in this kooky, quirky, strange little podcast, and until next time, remember to float like a Cadillac.
And sting like a beamer.
Catch you.
You may now... Nope, I'm
Okay,
cool
kiss
now.
the bride.
Tiny robot armies taking over your town. Staring, shaking, stuttering into life. Battery-powered infantry soldiers killing informers, sealing off borders. Crush transformers, litter